Holy shit. Huh? Wait a minute. Gì đây? Này. Chat, hey chat. What's up chat? Cái này là đây to xin cái này nhá. Đợi tí. Let me set up something. Anyways. Làm tí đề tiếng Anh nhá. Yeah. Kumapasi. Phải làm reading không? Ổn đấy nhỉ, đéo học.
Hi, it's Doug. I recently came across this unbelievable video. I recently came across this unbelievable video.
Believable, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Nó sẽ là unbelievable.
It was taken at a hotel in Texas. It was taken at a hotel in Texas. It was taken at a hotel in Texas, where on the roof of the hotel, they have this pool that hangs off the edge. Where on the roof of the hotel, they have this pool that hangs off the edge. And it has a glass bottom. Look at this. Would you go in there? Would you trust this glass? Someone named Benjamin has a question about glass. Someone named Benjamin has a question about glass.
Benjamin. Ask him.
Someone named Benjamin has a question.
Huh?
Someone named Benjamin has a question about glass.
Benjamin. The last one was that. Okay.
Let's give him a call now.
Hi, Doug.
Hi, Benjamin.
I have a question for you. How's glass made?
That's a great question. It's funny, right? Think about just how many objects around you are made of glass. Without glass, we'd have no windows. No windshields for our cars. No windshields for our cars. No drinking glasses or eyeglasses. No skyscrapers or smartphones.
Skyscraper một chữ P rồi.
And yet, it's really not obvious at all where glass comes from. Like if you're sitting there and you have a table or a desk in front of you like this, that's wood. I'm guessing you know that wood comes from a tree. I'm guessing you know that wood comes from a tree. Or this statue here is carved from stone. Or this statue here is carved from stone. You know where that comes from. But glass? Glass is a material that has to be made. How do they make it? Where does it come from? Well, believe it or not, glass is made by taking a bunch of sand and getting it so hot that it melts. Glass is made by taking a bunch of sand. Glass is made by taking a bunch of sand and getting it so hot that it melts. It's one of the most amazing things to watch how it's made. It's one of the most amazing things to watch how it's made. Because in order to melt sand, you have to use a special type of oven that can get super hot. Because in order to melt sand, you have to use a special type of oven that can get super hot. It's called a furnace or a kiln. It's called a furnace or a kiln. Here you can see someone loading some sand into the furnace. Here you can see someone. Once it gets hot enough, it will melt or become liquid. Once it gets hot enough, it will melt or become liquid. Once it gets hot enough, it will melt or become liquid. And when you get something this hot, you can see it glows, just like lava. This isn't lava though, it's molten sand. And as it cools, it will start to look more familiar to you. And as it cools, it will start to look more and as it cools, it will start to look more familiar to you. And as it cools, it will start to look more familiar to you. It becomes solid glass. To make a flat sheet of glass, like you'd use for a window, they melt sand until it's molten. Then they pour it out and roll it into a flat shape like this. Then they pour it out and roll it into a flat shape like this. Then they pour it out and roll it into a flat shape like this. And carefully allow it to cool. More fancy objects like a glass vase are even more fun to watch. More fancy objects like a glass vase are even more fun to watch. This involves a special skill called glass blowing. This involves a special skill called glass blowing. You can see here, it starts with this person taking a big glob of molten sand. You can see here, it starts with this person taking a big glob of molten sand. You can see here, it starts with this person taking a big glob of molten sand. You can see here, it starts with this person taking a big glob of molten and getting it on the end of a hollow pipe. Then she blows air into the pipe. You can actually blow a bubble into it. You can actually blow, which might end up being the open part of the vase. The molten glass has a similar thickness as honey. The molten glass has a similar thickness as honey. They carefully shape it the way they want it and keep turning it and turning it. They carefully shape it the way they want it and keep turning it and turning it. As it cools, it becomes solid.
Oh my.
As it cools, it becomes solid. Artists can make amazing sculptures with glass. Artists can make amazing sculptures with glass.
Sculpture. Sculpture, okay.
Artists can make amazing sculptures with glass.
Sculptures.
Artists can make amazing sculptures with glass.
Okay.
Believe it or not, this artist is making a glass swan. Believe it or not, this artist is making a glass swan. So that's how glass is made. But it's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean,
Sigma.
but it's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean, but it's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean, but it's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean, how did people ever discover that if you melt sand, how did people ever discover that if you melt sand, it makes glass?
Nhìn mẹ có em meme mày hài phết. Mẹ cái này hài vậy luôn. You are not Sigma. Hay là làm cái đầu mùi này. Hôm qua lúc 3 giờ sáng anh Tuấn anh vào voice Discord với tao Khang ạ. Anh chuyên anh chỉ tí đường cơ bản hiểu không? Hài phết. 3 giờ hay 2 giờ nhỉ? Đéo nhớ. Sigma boy.
Part 3. You will hear two students called Arya and John discussing the research on water hyacinths. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26.
Question 21 to 26. Nigger. I hate niggers. Anh đăng ký Spotify Premium nhỉ? Chán ấy. Cosmo, what the hell? Fish are poisoned. Farmers cannot fish, the dam structure is damaged. 2 letters. Okay. Nigger.
Now, listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Listen carefully.
John, how is it going with your research on water hyacinth?
Well, I went on a field trip on my own and collected the primary data. After I came back, I also referred to the published data.
So, what do you know about this plant?
The water hyacinth grows in tropical countries. It has beautiful purple-blue flowers, but everybody hates it.
Why is that?
The water hyacinth, as the world's worst invasive aquatic plant, has attracted significant attention. Millions of these plants grow in rivers and lakes and have brought huge environmental and cultural problems to the local people. Farmers cannot travel in boats on the water and thus cannot fish in it. In addition, it heavy free-floating mats of water hyacinth are clogging the dam at the power station in West Africa. Turbines of the power station are often shut down because of the intertwined leaves. Dams often cease to function as a result, severely restricting the electricity generation. Dense mats of water hyacinth also shade the surface and prevent...
Nó cũng có ảnh hưởng đến lượng sản lượng điện, nhưng mà nó có nhắc đến cái damage, dam structure thì là chót kéo gì? What the hell?
And algae growth, thus limiting the production of oxygen and threatening the survival of fish.
So, where did water hyacinth originate from?
The water hyacinth is native to the Amazon.
Sao mày nói tao TFT bị lỗi? Tao tỷ năm chắc tao chưa chơi lần nào. Đồ. Sigma boy.
Basin in Latin America. It has spread mainly to the tropics and subtropics throughout much of the world since the 1800s. Later, it was introduced into Europe and Africa as an ornamental garden pond plant due to its beauty. Flowers
tắt mẹ chat đi.
Of this plant were being sold in local markets in African countries as a source of income for women. Since the 1900s, this weed has infested lakes, rivers, and creeks of the delta areas in West Africa.
I guess whoever introduced this plant had never expected the disastrous impact it would have on the local ecological environment. What kind of habitat does water hyacinth thrive most in?
Well, it has been discovered that the nutrient-rich environment contributes significantly to the rapid proliferation of this weed, which obtains its nutrients directly from the water. This is normally compounded with a decrease of nutrients along the river banks.
Why is that?
The main reason for soil nutrient loss is that local residents cut down trees. Excessive deforestation accelerates soil erosion, which indirectly compounds this issue. Without enough trees to retain nutrients in the soil, frequent rain might partly aggravate this by carrying some of the nutrients into the waterways.
Are there any effective measures to control or even eradicate this weed?
Yes, a number of approaches have been widely applied throughout the world. Among them, biological control is the most widely favored long-term control method by introducing a type of insect that feeds on water hyacinth. So far, Nigeria has used this method for 6 months. However, the water hyacinth won't be removed immediately. The side effects of this method on the local ecology will remain unforeseen for years because it takes time for this external insect species to reach a density sufficient enough to affect ecological development.
Then what about other approaches? Is there a quicker way to control it?
Well, the mechanical removal of water hyacinth is seen as the best short-term solution. This option includes harvesting plants and in-site cutting. This method can immediately open physical space for fish and boat traffic. It is, however, inefficient for workers to process extensive areas and costly to use large cutting and dredging equipment. Ironically, it costs even more to dispose of this plant than to remove it.
Costs even more.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 27 to 30.
Sigma boy. Loose orchid là cái đéo ấy. Loose orchid hay loose earth tree? Bởi vì nó bảo cutting down là deforestation. Trang này là hôm qua thằng chó Tuần nó gạ mút tao. Muốn nên tao cho mày cái link web X. Đây. Free và cool. mini-ielts.com. Nigger.
Now listen and
nhập đi. Mini gạch ngang
answer questions 27 to 30. Can we make use of this weed and turn it into something good?
Now scientists think that water hyacinth can be useful. The plant itself, although more than 95% water, has a fibrous tissue and a high energy and protein content and can be used for a variety of useful applications.
So what do people do with
Like
water
that,
hyacinth that is initially removed?
First, the cut-down water hyacinth is left to dry under the sun for a few days before being mixed with
Under the
ash
sun.
and animal manure. The mixture can be used as alternative soil rather than fertilizer. It can grow crops with increased yield.
That sounds interesting.
Mushroom farmers can benefit from water hyacinth as well. Using the mixture mentioned earlier, mushrooms generally grow much faster so that farmers can harvest mushrooms sooner, which enables them to make money faster.
I
More
see.
profit.
It can be used to grow oyster and straw mushrooms, right?
Yes, in India, attempts have been made to grow these types of edible mushrooms organically utilizing water hyacinth. These mushrooms provide sufficient nutritional values, including minerals and high-quality protein, which are essential to people's level of fitness.
Right. Are there any other measures taken to utilize water hyacinth?
In Southeast Asia, people feed cows using chopped water hyacinth mixed with other vegetables. Then the waste from the cows is treated to produce methane gas, which can be used as fuel for cooking, lighting, or powering an engine. And with global warming getting worse, developing alternative sources of energy will be more urgent than ever.
Maybe in the future, people will love water hyacinth instead of hating it.
Mấy water
Yes,
hyacinth
that's very
cái béo
likely if we can make full use of this weed.
béo.
That is the end of part 3. You now
Ooh.
have 30 seconds to check your answers to part 3.
Niggers. Mẹ tuyệt vời đấy. Chết mẹ lại đéo nghe khao rồi. Đi mẹ mất tập trung thế. Sai 3 câu. Biết sai ở đâu như vậy. Không sao, nó nên hả? Xem đáp án cái gì anh em? Ở đây. B và E á. Is electricity. What the fuck? Hả? B và E. Farmer cannot fish. Đúng rồi nhá. Electricity production is affected. What? Sao hai cái này? Ý mày là sao hả bài? What do you mean, nigga? Africa. C đúng rồi. Lose or tree á? Sao lại lose or tree? Ồ.
I bought these small little tube things from China, and they all contain a small amount of tritium. Tritium is chemically almost the same as hydrogen, except it has 2 extra neutrons. This makes it about 3 times heavier than normal hydrogen gas, and it's also radioactive. So what people do is trap it in small tubes like this that have a phosphor painted on the inside. When the phosphor is hit by radiation, it emits light, and the color depends on the phosphor that's used. They can glow like this for as long as 10 to 15 years, but some of the radiation does get out, and I can detect it with a Geiger counter.
Got this package here.
Okay, a nice slim package. Oh, it's a very small thing. 1, 2, 3. What is this? It's a rock.
It's a piece of trinitite from the very first nuclear explosion.
What?
The Trinity explosion. Oppenheimer, the nuclear bomb.
So this is like the sand from the desert.
This is the sand from the desert. So I just wanted to confirm that by testing to see if it's still radioactive.
Wait, this can be radioactive?
Yes,
okay.
It's very possible it could still be radioactive.
Okay.
Yeah. Here.
Oh, wow.
Got a Geiger.
It doesn't count. Nigger.
Part 4. You will hear part of a presentation about the early history of salt. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. You will hear part of a presentation about the early history 31 to 40.
Salt is essential for human health. The word nigger comes from the Latin words. Cái gì ạ? Bật đèn mà. What the hell, bro? What the hell, bro? Con không? The word come from the Latin word.
Now, listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Luz or tree là cái điều.
In my presentation, I'm going to talk about salt. In modern times, when we talk about salt, people may associate it with high blood pressure or increased heart risk, and many health experts warn that we should use less salt in our meals and dishes. However, we should not ignore its importance in our cuisine and even in early human history. Salt is one of the oldest, most ubiquitous food seasonings. The taste of salt is one of the basic human tastes. More importantly, salt plays an indispensable role in the health of human beings. For example, it regulates the body's acid-base balance. Because of its importance to survival, salt has often been considered a valuable commodity during human history. This can be tracked all the way back to ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, and ancient Rome, when salt was highly valued and used as a method of trade and currency. In ancient Rome, the busiest road leading to the city was the Via Salaria, which means the salt route in English. A soldier's pay, which partly consisted of salt, was known as salarium argentum in Latin, from which we derived the English word salary. A soldier's salary was cut if he was not worth his salt, an expression still used today. In fact, salt was not only the first condiment discovered, but also the first preservative. We know today that food goes bad because microorganisms in the food multiply in abundance, and a high salt environment is not conducive to microbial reproduction. Extremely high concentrations of salt can even kill microorganisms in the food. The ancients certainly didn't know this, but they did know that salted food can be preserved for a long time. The use of salt as a preservative can be traced to ancient Sweden. At first, hunting was the principal means of livelihood. In this case, meat supplies were unlikely to be frequent. What's more, fewer animals were available for hunting. In order to ensure the supply of meat, many families in Sweden began to raise animals in the surrounding forests during the summer, when the weather was suitable for animals to survive. These animals were fed every day until about 3 to 4 months later. That's in October. They were ready to be butchered for meat, and that was the only month when ancient Swedish people had fresh meat on their table. Then, with the continuous increase in productivity, people finally had some meat left. However, October, they were ready to be butchered for meat, and that was the only month when ancient Swedish people had fresh meat on their table. Then, with the continuous increase in productivity, people finally had some meat left. However, how to store the meat had become a headache, until someone invented a whole new way to preserve food: salting. People tried to keep meat from going bad by adding some salt to it, and it could be preserved for several months and even years. There was evidence that salt was widely used to preserve meat. Historical documents in 1573 recorded the Swedish king's everyday meals, mentioning that 175 pounds of meat was consumed each year, but over 150 pounds was salty. From this, we can clearly see the importance of salt in Sweden at that time. In addition, the documents also noted the annual sales of beer in Sweden soared during that period, and this must be related to high levels of salt in their food. Now, let's turn to the sources of salt. Where is salt from? Well, salt is common in nature. It has long been found that salt can be extracted from seawater, mineral deposits, saline lakes, brine, spring, etc., among which the two most important ones are oceans and basins. On the floor of the latter often lie deserts, where traces of salt can be found, such as the Sahara. Furthermore, the quality of different salt types varies a lot. For example, salt from seawater is always mixed with impurities, so after the salt is dried, the sediments and other chemicals need to be purified before eating. However, this is not the case with salt from spring water. We can hardly find any impurities, and the salt level is much more concentrated. Then, how did people distribute salt around the world? Of course, in modern times, we have various ways of transporting goods, but in ancient times, it was not the case. Take ancient Sweden, we mentioned before, as an example. Because of the heavy use of salt in the diet, Sweden could not feed itself and had to import large amounts of salt from other countries. In order to make sure they could buy enough salt from abroad, the Swedish had to attach great importance to shipping and keep it undamaged, as it was the most crucial way at that time. While in other ancient countries, in order to distribute salt to other places, groups of men were employed. They put bags of salt on their shoulders or backs and moved them to the surrounding regions, and gradually these people were considered as a mode of transport in early times. Later, with the improvement of traffic conditions, salt trade between different regions was boosted, and long-distance food trade was also promoted, making communication between different cultures more frequent and...
by which they imported.
That is the end of part 4. You now have 1 minute to check.
Sai hai câu là câu đéo nào? Concentrated. Oh my god, concentrated. 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 Shit. Concentrated. Concentrated. Shipping. Câu 8 là gì? 8 là concentrated này. Câu 9 mình chưa điền được, chưa nghe rõ này. Câu 10 transport. Transport đúng rồi, câu 10 đúng rồi. Câu 9 á, ở câu 9 mình chưa điền. Câu 8 sai câu này. Dễ. Concentrated. Concentrated wood đâu. I have a pen. I have a apple. Oh, apple pen. I have a pen. A pineapple. What the sigma? Wood. Concentrated. Not concentrated. Not consent kia là cảm nhận. Concentrated là đây gọi là tinh chế à? Concentrated. Tập trung thực phẩm là tập trung. What the fuck do you mean? Using a lot of effort to succeed at one particular thing. Tập trung. The hell, man? Concentrated. Cô đặc, đúng rồi, nó kiểu cô đặc với cái tinh chế à, tinh chất à, tinh chất là danh từ. Concentrated. Tinh chế. Okay. Tinh chế hoặc là cô đặc. Tiếp rồi. Tinh chế hoặc là cô đặc à? Đậu ma. Đậu ma. Đậu ma.
Four. You will hear.
Đó.
Hear part of a lecture on
Ủa,
organic
mẹ cứ vào ấy.
farming. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
31 to nigger. Organic farming is something. It can boost the economy of cái gì đó. It's if necessary. Thế địt mẹ đéo có cái. Không có cái mắc lại à. Ngon lắm. Đừng có mang đến nữa không? Không ăn nữa đâu. Đọc mẹ đi em.
Now, listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
31 to 40.
Hi everyone. What I'm going to talk about today is organic farming. Let's first look at what organic farming is. It can be defined as one or more systems of production which don't use synthetic fertilizers, man-made pesticides, herbicides, antibiotics, or livestock feed additives to grow crops and raise animals. Virtually all organic farmers prefer to use renewable resources and recycling to give what conventional farmers might consider waste back to the soil of Mother Nature. From this, we can see organic farming is a sustainable production system, which is one of its advantages. Organic farmers use numerous techniques to promote the quality of life of plants and animals within existing ecosystems and minimize pollution that occurs with all conventional farming practices. Another benefit is that, with the increasing consumer demand for a healthier, more nutritionally balanced product, the sales of organically produced food are promoted. According to the research, it has become the fastest growing sector of agriculture and has shown an annual increase of at least 20% during the last 6 years. What's more, both chemical fertilizers and synthetic pesticides consume non-renewable resources such as oil and coal, but the development of organic farming can lower the demand for these fertilizers and pesticides, so it is conducive to the conservation of essential energy. At the same time, it also can reduce industrial pollution caused by the production of these chemical substances. Organic farming differs greatly from the traditional one in a number of ways. Let's discuss it from the perspective of agricultural biodiversity. Firstly, for instance, earthworms are an important indicator of soil fertility. Studies have shown that the density and species number of earthworms in organically managed soils are 3 times as high as those in conventional fields. Moreover, the biodiversity in organic farming can also be reflected in the number of insects, which is twice as many as those in traditional farms. This might be highly related to the fact that organic vegetables are grown without any human-made pesticides, making these vegetables more likely to be damaged. The other main difference between organic and traditional farming lies in crop yields, one of the biggest concerns of organic farmers. Organic farms, though possibly well adapted for certain local environments, produce less food per unit of land. For example, organic vegetables like tomatoes and potatoes yielded are 40% less than conventional ones. In addition, research has also found the number of weeds produced in winter is about 90% at present, which has decreased by 10% than before. However, lower crop yields in organic farming are still inevitable at the moment. Anyway, organic farming is a new direction for agricultural development. These days, a variety of organic products are cultivated not only for humans but also for animals. For example, organic grass. It is commonly used in organic farms to feed cows. Because of the non-use of synthetic fertilizers or pesticides, it can protect cows from diseases brought by large-scale breeding, thus ensuring the quality of raw milk. But an interesting phenomenon is that its production has remained constant these years, which is quite unique compared with other types of crops. Research on organic farming has covered various aspects and involved many countries. According to one study, organic farming was proposed in India in the early 1960s, when it was faced with acute shortages of food grains due to the ever-increasing population and natural disasters. Although it could not be applied successfully at first, as farmers had been familiar with conventional instructions, proponents of organic farming claimed that organic agriculture emphasized biodiversity and effective soil management could enhance the capacity to mitigate and even reverse the effects of climate change. So, India needed organic farming along with modern scientific agriculture. The study shows that in 2016, India became the country with the largest number of organic products, and the production of crops kept growing year on year. Another international review about organic farming presents in the first part that people today have become increasingly interested in organic food, and this opinion is quite the same as that of other articles. But what impressed me most was the volume of the investigation the author did in different countries. He conducted a survey in 99 countries, of which 66 are convinced that organic farming is beneficial to animals, while 8 hold the opposite opinion, and the remaining 25 say it is inconclusive. Therefore, the last part of the review is mainly talking about whether organic farming brings positive effects to animals. We can see there are different views about the advantages of organic farming. Some may think it can provide more nutritious and healthier food. Others may say it can protect the natural environment and benefit wildlife. However, as far as I'm concerned, it's you, the ones who buy organic products, that will decide what they can bring to you, because market demand determines everything. Okay, that's all I want to say. Now.
Địt mẹ đéo để ý ạ. 씨발. What the fuck? A law influences all of us virtually all the time. It governs almost all aspects of our behavior. Holy fuck. And even what happens to us when we are no longer alive, it affects us from the embryo là cái đéo, embryo onwards, sinh vật các cái còn phôi thai, phôi, cái phôi thai, and we breathe the food and drink we consume, our child, family relationships, and our property. It applies at the bottom of the ocean and in space. Reason why it is unfair, but the disadvantage không phải the law throughout khả năng là bốn. Public's increasing ability to influence the law. 4, nó là 4. Bởi vì nó nói về nó thậm chí còn ảnh hưởng chúng ta trong kể cả bào thai, có nghĩa throughout our life. B là each time we examine a label on a food product which in work as an employee or in to teach. Điển hai cái một lần được không? Hai câu một cái được không? Each time examine a label on a food product, engage in work as an employee. Stay in hotel, borrow a library book, commercial sports, or engage the services of someone for anything from plumbing a sink to cleaning a CD. We are in the world of law. Thì có nghĩa là sự phát triển trong ấy thì không phải, trong luật pháp thì không phải, the disadvantages cũng không phải. The law has affected historical events. Không phải đoạn này. Thảo Oh my god, nigga. Much more widely, I wish behavior needs to be judged. A very telling development in recent history is the way in which the idea of law has permitted, permit more,
Permeate.
permitted all parts of social life. The universal standard of something is tolerated is progressively becoming whether it is legal rather than something it has always been considered acceptable in early times. Và illiterate. Mù chữ này, most people were illiterate. Today, by contrast, là đối ngược lại kia là cái nạn mù chữ trở nên dễ đọc và thích luật hơn, cảm thấy luật thú vị hơn. Vì to for improvement of the duration for humanity or high. Mẹ ơi, mai mẹ có xuống nhà dưới không? Mẹ vẫn làm à? Ok. See, of course, puts significant position of skills are valuable. Fuck you. Those people, for example, with knowledge upon by the rest of us, there is now someone with ideal skill. Without their knowledge, many parts of commercial answer would cease up in minutes. Legal and vital là kiểu quan trọng. And as universally needed, có nghĩa là nó quan trọng tương đương với cái ngành IT này. The American comedy Linda is playing the game, moving our pieces around the board. But if there is a problem, the lawyer is the only person. Có nghĩa là the lawyer là người chịu thiệt thòi. A negative regard for lawyers. Ok. Câu 6. Đây. Is the only person who has read the inside of the top of the box. Box. is the only person who has read and made sense of the rule. Regard này ở đây dịch là gì? Cái nhìn, một cái nhìn tiêu cực về luật sư á? I don't think so. It's the only person who has read. Chỗ này đọc là read đúng không? Bởi vì nó là quá khứ. Nó là quá khứ của read, đọc là read nhưng vẫn là thế. Made sense of the rules. Made sense of the rule. Okay. Để tạm đây nữa. 4D C VEE á, VEE á. Public increase ability to influence the law. Có nghĩa nó liên quan đến cái as vital, as universally used, như cái IT skills á. Nigga. Nhưng mà nó bảo là the lawyer is the only person who has read the inside of the top of the box. Mà hình như nó không nhắc đến cái gọi là cái điểm tiêu cực của cái nhìn của luật sư. Có thể là 7 thật. 7. Địt mẹ ghét làm reading vãi đấy. Địt mẹ đọc đau mắt vãi lồn. The number of being greater. Nhưng mà tao nghĩ cái này nó mới là D, nó mới là 7. The legislative là cái đéo ấy. Legislative, okay. Since double it này. No. Instrument. Đây, đến đoạn D thì nó mới là 6. Lawyers do a great deal not just to vindicate the rights of citizens and organizations, but also to help some of which are adopted by judges to become laws, can produce new law and revise old law, having heard the arguments of lawyers, but they do so having. Có lẽ C là 7 thật. IT chắc liên quan đến public đấy. Those people chắc liên quan đến public đấy. Thế thì tại sao 2 mình chọn là B? Hai cái 7 chọn là B. The hell man. I did not stand to judge down the idea or as per in early times, thời gian trước, trong quá khứ. Thế thì the law has affected history events à? Bởi vì nó làm thay đổi quá khứ này. Không can be used. Nó làm thay đổi quá khứ về những người không biết đọc, những người mù chữ. Một 30 phút cho mỗi ấy á. Ok. Học lại reading à? Đúng mà. Ảnh hưởng đến historical events là thay đổi nạn mù chữ. Ok. Này cho là 7 đi. Number of laws has never been greater. Đây là sự bất lợi của hệ thống luật pháp à? Religious process đã thông qua 365 Parliament nghị viện và hơn 32.000 legal binding statutes thuộc luật pháp. Thì nó có quá nhiều cái legal binding statutory này á.
Statutory.
Đúng mà. 19 phút, 20 phút mẹ. Đéo hiểu. Đây có phải là kiểu, chẳng biết đây nó có giống bài thật không, nhưng mà nó chắc kiểu nó không theo part ấy, nó không theo một phần paragraph ấy, nó gộp chung lại sao. Nhưng mà đọc mãi đéo xong ạ, cái vai này. Nhờ mẹ ngồi ngâm lâu vãi chưởng. Cứt ngâm. Bắt đầu chắc kiểu đọc nhanh nhanh tí chứ phải lâu quá. Heroic có nghĩa là the negative regard of noise. 6 F. People sometimes make comments that characteristic was concerned. Đây là nói về những điểm xấu của luật sư này. 6 trang. Mẹ nhiều từ mới vãi đấy. Phí tiền thưởng service provided by these lawyers relies on considerable drafting document. B. Đây là 3. Những khó khăn. Chắc phải học lại thôi. Đi nhầm. Ôi, học lại đoạn này. Học lại reading vậy. Hả? Hell man. What a... Bữa. Fuck you. Đó là chọn phần Yes, no, not given. Cái này. Đây. Lỗi web à. Chắc mỗi bài này lỗi địt mẹ đen thế. Umbrella term. Đúng rồi, nó là hả? Cho mày gì cơ? Choi voi. Chơi với á. Nhảy mẹ cái cam này. Hả? Mẹ đi. Đọc từng tiêu đề trên keyword. Này gọi là gì? Matching headings. Mẹ cái này nói chung chung với nhờ. Rồi.
Hello guys, it's me again. Welcome các bạn tới tập thứ 2 của chương trình.
Độ BC livestream ạ. Không cần đọc à? So sánh bên này thì là ok. Đấy, định nghĩa sát nhất. Nghĩa chính á. Ra rồi mà hôm nay thứ 5 đúng không? Hôm nay thứ 5 mà. Tao cũng đang cha tí. Ờ, mẹ xem đây bản quyền đánh chết mẹ mất. Đéo. Ờ, đấy. Phụ đề tiếng Việt đâu. Linh á. Đúng tập này không nhỉ? Ờ, tập này mới đấy. Ờ, từ từ. Ờ, tập này mới anh em ơi. Đấu. Season 3. Season 3 chủ cũ. Season 4 mà. Chịu mẹ. Lời thì thầm của đá SS4 á. Tập 1, tập 2 đều review. Tập 2. Thế mày xem ở web nào? Ta xem trên Netflix nhưng mà tài khoản Netflix nó khóa rồi anh em ơi. Tưởng hôm nay thứ năm hả? The fuck? Vào thứ năm hàng tuần mà. Tao không có tài khoản, để tài khoản bác tao ở nhà tao xem chung bác tao. Đéo biết check ở đâu đấy mới là vấn đề ấy. Mua xe như đéo có. Mua xe trên YouTube ấy cù. Tao bảo nó khóa rồi mà, chịu mẹ rồi. Sáu ngày trước. Tóm tắt chuyên lo 2 tập 3. Mẹ đúng hôm nay có ấy thì nó đéo cho xem cái gì. Dùng ké quá 14 ngày xong nó khóa mẹ lại cái vậy đấy. Đéo có. Hả? Season 3. Vãi lồn. Mẹ bọn tư bản. Mẹ xem ở đâu được? Mày xem chưa? Rồi mày xem chưa rồi? Chưa. Check đi, lên lên Netflix check đi. Mày bảo chị mày có Netflix mà. Chịu mẹ. Mai. Ơ, tối mai là giao thừa đúng không? Ờ hả, ờ hả, ờ hả. Mày hiểu. Mai mùng mấy? Mùng mấy âm? Nếu có lịch âm. Mai là 24 12 âm ạ. 27 cơ. Sao trong cái Tết này trong cái calendar này nó đều có. Thứ ba ngày 28 tháng 1 và sang 29 luôn. Được. Có so sánh mà. Có ví dụ không? À, sao có mẹ answer ở đây. What the fuck? À, kéo lên được. Minor thinking và ý chính của đoạn đó. Simplify and read connection. Chính rất quan trọng. Go. Holy fuck. We all know. What it when defining modern so that it can be studied in the lab has provided both difficult.
We start with the vocabulary. Okay. The first phrase we say immediate family. Some of you may feel confused when you are asked to talk about your family. You would say whether I should mention my grandma, my grandpa, and my great-grandmom, etc. But yes, they are all your immediate family. However, if you are living with your family, like your parents and your siblings, you should mention them first. Not about your relatives, like your uncles and aunts and cousins. So we have immediate family, just like Folk has just introduced about herself, her family, his family. Sorry. So when do you remember how many people there are in Folk's family? How many people are there in Minh Phúc family? Remember how his parents, his sister, younger sister, maybe, yeah, and brother, and him, right? Okay, thank you. Next, number 2, we say family gatherings. How often do you have family gatherings? Miss Mỹ Nương, how many? Or how often? How many times? How often do you have family gatherings?
Maybe
Tôi vẫn làm được. Nói chung
Loát đi. Mạng điên à. Hả? What the hell, bro? Nick.
À, có chó. Mày xem cái gì ấy?
Perfect.
Cái gì? Improvise a trip to Đà Nẵng. Wow. Ui, cái bà thầy cái bà cô mà nói mà buồn cười đấy. Tao xem clip thấy bà phát âm buồn cười ấy. Nghe sàm bùi ấy, đéo ai đi nói acquires reputation for. Ôi. Ôi, tao stream này. Tao ngồi làm meeting.
Đủ man.
Xem bài hôm qua rồi, bị sai 2 câu của cái kia. Cay.
Cái kia cái nào? Cái mày bảo.
Cái bài hôm qua ấy. Hôm qua tự dưng 2 giờ sáng nhà tao bị mất mạng. Thế rồi tao cày tao đi ngủ.
Tao tưởng mẹ mày ganh.
Không, tao bị mất mạng. Cái cục mạng nhà tao kiểu mấy ngày nay tao cứ phải cắm đi cắm vào ấy, kiểu rút ra cắm lại. I did Duolingo for 2,000 days. Can I speak Spanish? Duolingo is a hoax, bro.
Duolingo học
làm Duolingo. Thôi tao on grind, thôi tao stream ấy.
Mày làm đi, tao xem cách mày làm.
Xem cách tao làm, tao ngồi làm hẳn một cái test ấy. Yeah, tao có mày ở đây ngồi nói chuyện cũng vui vui.
Mày nói nhiều vào kiểu mày giải thích ấy, hiểu không?
Nó giải thích à? biết bố ơi, lỡ đâu điểm tao không cao tao nhục bố mẹ.
Lấy chim thắt cổ luôn.
Chấm ít nhất 8 chấm nha, ít nhất 8 chấm nha.
Ok.
Đợi để xem lên chưa. Chasing go. Start recording hay start streaming.
Con người sống về đêm.
Trời ơi, sống cái đêm đi. Quay đi tổ cụ.
Đâu? Đã bị lập tiếng không?
Sống về đêm mẹ mới có nhiều thời gian để làm ấy. Giờ chỉ cần sáng ngủ.
Ngủ trưng
chai dướng. Rồi. Giờ ngồi làm
You are not Sigma.
Nó nói đoạn nào để xem nào bạn. Câu 9.
Sao câu
Ok.
9 mày lại sai được? 9 là
Câu
gì?
9 mày đọc ở đoạn nào?
Mày kéo lên.
Traditional employers are likely. Thế có khi tao paraphrase sai thì tao phải tìm từ sai. Traditional không phải là common. Đây, nó có câu giải thích đây. According to Professor Anthony. Đây.
Đấy.
You're not going to see napping at
People-
traditional types of operation. Ok, hiểu.
Cái Anthony ở trên cũng có, tao đọc ở trên.
Đây là cái đoạn này. Thế. Thôi, sai chị ơi. Question 3 biết thế vẫn tích no. Nhưng mà mình không thấy được cái từ energetic. Chắc đọc lướt quá hơi quá. Cất nhất là cái đoạn 3 này. Part 3 người ta làm đến cặp. Thôi, sai. Tao mà sai 3 câu thì nó là 37. 37 trên 40 reading. 8.5. Rồi. Ok nhá, 5 câu chó này nhá. Thế giờ làm gì đây rồi à? Vocab. Mày xem Beast Games không?
Của thằng Mr. Beast á?
Tao tuần nào tao cũng xem mà.
Xem chán lắm lười không? Sao một đéo ấy.
Opinion. Thôi writing thôi. Dẹp. Nhưng mà căn bản một bài của tao đã tự luyện chính mình để cho nhanh đến mức đấy.
Okay.
Nhưng mà tao nghĩ cái đoạn sau với đoạn quan trọng tao phải luyện kiểu 20 phút còn lại tao mới đọc bài.
Nhanh quá.
Không, nhanh mà đa số đúng mà. Mỗi cái bài ba kia như con cặc. Ghét vãi rồi.
Có vocab thì mày học rồi đéo. Học trên này luôn.
Vocab ngồi. Tao chỉ tìm mấy từ khó để tao cho vào bài nói của tao ấy.
Chịu mày.
Nói thế tao tưởng tao biết nhiều từ tao đéo biết lắm. Giờ mày ngồi làm rồi.
Rồi tao xem mày làm rồi tao đéo sức làm rồi.
Hôm qua mày ngủ mấy giờ?
3 giờ.
Vãi chó. Thôi, thế giờ tao ngồi làm xong cái này tao ra listening.
Mày làm listening xem.
Trillium này. Burnout. Ôi, lâu rồi tao không dùng từ burnout. Thỉnh thoảng hay dùng mấy từ ấy trong bài viết. 2 năm rồi đã dùng. Đây. Rồi tìm một bài listening. Bừa cái này.
Mày có stream tiếng nè. Không, cái desktop mày trong mày đều bật. Từ đây mày... À đây rồi. Nghe rồi kìa. À. Bắt đầu lập rồi. Cái đéo dài thế. Cái gì? Thì nó liên quan đến moral values rồi gì? Mày nói lập tao đéo nghe một cái gì cả. Địt mẹ, cái tiếng nó đang lập anh em. Biết rồi. Nó liên quan đến moral values. Tiếp đi. Địch.
Clubs even housing their own specialist doctors and physicians. Today, football is a key feature of school children's day-to-day education, particularly for boys. With the help of football associations, all schools in the UK are boasting their own football teams. This mainly comes as a result of pressure put on schools and the government by concerned parents, who felt that football education taught their children valuable lessons and indeed vital life skills, such as teamwork and a drive to succeed. Nowadays, many of the UK's top football clubs provide training facilities and outreach programs in an attempt to educate the nation's aspiring youths. As I previously mentioned, it was only during the 19th century that football in its uniform concept truly began to emerge, with footballers previously playing according to their own versions of the rules. However, it was not until the early 20th century that different players actually began to play according to these standardized rules. Prior to the 19th century, football was played by all the major English public schools, including the likes of Eton College, Winchester College, and Harrow. In 1848, there was a meeting at Cambridge University in an attempt to lay down the laws of football. Present at the meeting were representatives of each of these major public schools, whom each brought a copy of the rules enforced by their own individual school's rules of football. The result of the meeting was what is now known as the Cambridge Rules, thereby uniting the rules from across the country into one simple document. However, the Cambridge Rules were not liked by all, and a new set of rules, Thring's Rules, compounded in the book The Simplest Game, became commonplace among dissenters. Across the country, improvements in infrastructure and public transport had a knock-on effect of dramatically increasing attendance to football games. Football quickly became a social event where spectators would meet friends, drink tea, and chat about the good old days. As football became more and more popular, it was decided that more money should be invested in maintaining the quality of pitches, amongst other things, and there was even talk of installing seating for spectators. However, the question of who was to foot the bill quickly became a divisive issue, with many believing that the government should fund football's development as a national sport. But in the end, the onus fell upon Britain's local and regional football clubs for the funding and development of the Football Association. They became responsible for the upkeep of football grounds, began to pay their best players a small salary, and organised competitions against other local and regional teams. And there began England's Football Association, or the FA, as we know it in its current form, the governing body of football in England. As the FA continued to grow and accumulate greater wealth, it was able to attract more and more talented young men from across the country, before finally accepting professional talent in the early 20th century. Today, football is played at a professional level all...
tôi nghĩ là sport. Ở đây
Present at the meeting were representatives. However, the Cambridge Rules were not liked by all, and a new set of rules, Thring's Rules, compounded in the book The Simplest Game, became commonplace among dissenters. Across the country, improvements in infrastructure and public transport had a knock-on effect of dramatically increasing attendance to football games. Football quickly became a social event where spectators...
Social event. Chắc chỉ trên mày tại ta không biết từ. Oh shit, professional. A professional talent. Nó nói professional talent. Đâu ấy? Professional talent. Đây, professional talent.
Okay.
Professional talent. Cái câu này tao không nghe rõ, tao chỉ nghe được cái từ cuối country nên tao đoán bừa country. Tao chỉ nghe được cái từ cuối country nên tao đoán bừa country. What? Professional talent. Social event. Nghe khó nhỉ? Social event.
Nghe ra sport ạ. Có chỗ nào sport ở trong đấy không?
Không có sport đâu. Không có sport đâu. Nhưng mà nếu cho sport vào hơi hiển nhiên rồi. Nếu cho sport vào hơi hiển nhiên rồi. Phát một này.
Section 1. You will hear a conversation between two students talking about driving lessons. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Hi, Zach. I heard you passed your driving test. Congratulations.
Thanks, Olivia. I passed just last week. It feels great to be independent and driving on my own.
I really want to take driving lessons, but I haven't been able to find a driving school that will...
Thôi này. Cái gì ấy? Thôi này.
that will give lessons during the weekends so that I don't have to miss any classes at college.
The woman wants to take driving lessons during the weekends, so weekends has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
1 to 5.
Hi, Zach. I heard you passed your driving test. Congratulations.
Thanks, Olivia. I passed just last week. It feels great to be independent and driving on my own.
I really want to take driving lessons, but I haven't been able to find a driving school that will give lessons during the weekends so that I don't have to miss any classes at college.
The driving school that I used was brilliant and really flexible with their teaching hours. It's really close to the school. The address is 67 Kings Road. That's 67 King 'S Road.
Oh, that's perfect. I don't like the idea of driving around busy streets. Did your teacher make you drive in urban areas, or did he mainly teach you on roads in the countryside?
My teacher said that I had to learn on both in order to become a good and experienced driver. We would start in the city centre and then drive north above the city.
He sounds like a good teacher. Would you mind giving me his contact details so I can ask him for lessons?
Of course. My mother's friend Daniel Smith referred me to him. His name is Alan Sutcliffe.
Could you spell the surname, please?
Sutcliffe.
Thanks for helping me out. I'll give him a call tomorrow.
What
I don't know if I should learn in a manual or automatic car. How do I decide?
I wasn't sure which type of car to learn in either. In the end, I chose to learn in a manual car, because once you've learned how to drive manually, you can drive automatic as well. Most cars on the road are automatic nowadays.
Okay, I think I'll learn with a manual car too then. Hopefully the teacher will be able to give me lessons in the evenings after school.
It would be much better if you take the lessons during the day. It will be far easier for you to learn when there is enough daylight to clearly see everything going on around you. But you need to be an experienced driver to drive safely at night.
How frustrating. I was hoping I wouldn't have to take lessons during the weekends. You're right, though. Safety comes first.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
Speaking of safety, you should wait until summer to start learning. It's really difficult and dangerous to drive in the wind and rain as a learner, so you should definitely wait until the weather is sunny and dry.
Okay, that's perfect actually. It will give me some time to save up some money to pay for the lessons.
Tell me about it. I had to work for months before I had enough money saved up. It was worth all the work when I finally got my driving licence, though.
The whole process is so expensive. How much did it cost you in the end?
Well, each half-hour lesson cost $30, and then the final test cost $50. In total, it cost me about $300.
Gosh, it's pretty expensive. How did you find the test? Was it really difficult?
No, it wasn't too bad, and the man was really calm and friendly. I knew that I would have to perform 2 parking manoeuvres during the test, so I practiced them a lot beforehand, and that really helped. The test used to last 40 minutes, but it changed a bit. For the first 20 minutes of the test, he gave me directions, and I had to just drive around, and then the last 10 minutes was for demonstrating the manoeuvres. So the test is 30 minutes in total.
Okay, great, I'll remember that. Do you have any more advice?
It's really good to practice driving a lot outside of driving lessons as well. Whenever my parents were running errands on the weekends, I would offer to drive them. My driving teacher also told me to buy a notebook to write down everything that I've learnt in it, like a diary.
Haha, that sounds boring, but I'll do it if it helps.
I found it really useful. Before my test, I read through everything I had written down, and it reminded me of a lot of things that I had forgotten about. It's really helpful for the theory test as well, because there's so much information.
Sai ở đâu đấy? Kings gì? Kingston mà, đúng không? Cái đéo rồi
King,
chứ.
nó bảo King Astroph. Lần đầu thấy cái này nha.
Là cái đéo.
Lần đầu thấy cái này nha.
Astrophy là cái gì?
Nó astrophy là dấu phẩy trên này. Astrophy. Đây. Trời ơi, tao sắp thẩm rồi. How nào? What the fuck astrophy? What the fuck astrophy?
Oh my god.
Shut up, bro. Ok, không nghe được cái này. Ok, không nghe được cái này. Tourism course.
Mày dùng web nào?
Part 2.
Sao mày làm web ấy? The fuck?
Làm web đấy.
Sao mày làm web mà làm cái này ấy?
Làm web đấy. Tùy.
Web mà làm.
Ôi, section 3.
Section 3. You will hear a
What the hell is bro doing?
conversation between a professor and a student talking about taking a course. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25.
Same.
Nick. Clinic.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Dr. Twain.
Excuse me, Dr. Twain. May I speak with you for a minute?
Of course, please come in.
I'm Charlotte York. I'm considering taking your course in tourism.
Right. Well, Charlotte, how can I help you?
I have been considering studying tourism. However, it is such an important decision that I would like to seek some advice about it first. Would you mind answering some of my questions?
Absolutely. Fire away.
Well, I have been discussing courses with my parents, and they are concerned that I will not be able to get a well-paid job with a degree in tourism. The reason that I want to study the course is that I have a great interest in the subject, and I think I would really enjoy it. I believe the only way that I will enjoy my life is if I enjoy my career. Happiness is far more important than money, don't you think?
Absolutely. I would much rather be happy and poor rather than rich and miserable. Money cannot buy you happiness.
I'm glad you agree.
You needn't worry about money, Charlotte. A large part of the tourism course is dedicated to teaching students how to manage finances, a skill that you can apply to your everyday life as well. I would also recommend that you take a sideline course in time management, as this can be incredibly useful in efficiently planning your workload. Efficiency is the key to success.
I'll remember that.
Now, I have found that some students have natural talents that really help them to succeed in the course. Communication skills, for example, can be very beneficial. Do you have any strengths?
Maths was always my favorite subject at school, so I really enjoy solving mathematical problems. However, I find statistics quite difficult. I have always been very capable and self-sufficient. I have a lot of confidence in my abilities and will take the initiative in situations without needing to depend on anyone else for their help.
That's a really great quality to have and will be particularly useful if you choose to study tourism.
That's great.
I would recommend that you spend some of your time researching the course. A lot of people who are uneducated on the subject claim that tourism is a shrinking industry and that it will become irrelevant in the future. If you study the published research, however, you will see that the truth is quite the opposite. The industry has, in fact, grown significantly as people have developed an ever-increasing interest in culture and travel. Have you compared the university course with a polytechnic?
Yes, I have. I was interested in studying the course in modules. However, the university doesn't offer that option. I don't have enough funds to be able to attend an expensive university, so I was relieved to see that the course is quite affordable. I also considered attending a summer school instead of university to save money, and so that I could work during the rest of the year. But I really wanted the university experience.
I think that university would suit you well.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Now, what about the courses? Are you interested in any of the other subjects on offer?
I have looked at a few. I was interested in travel and business as it sounds similar to tourism.
That is really worth learning. However, be aware that it is difficult and will demand a lot of your time.
Okay, that's good to know.
You might find that Japanese is an interesting course and it will teach you valuable skills in speaking the language. Personally, it's not bad and could be of some help, but not that much.
Okay, Japanese. Got that. What about medical care?
Well, if you have time, the course will teach you a lot about curing diseases and illnesses or dealing with injuries outside, although it's not essential.
So, okay, if it's useful, I'll take it.
If you enjoy using technology and are worried about fulfilling the entry requirements, computing is very relaxed about the skills that applicants must possess.
I'm terrible with computers, so I'm not sure that I would enjoy that course. How about public relations?
Yes, I would recommend that course. It would be related to entering the tourism industry, as it will educate you on how to approach clients and develop associations with them.
That's great. Thank you so much for your help. What about medical care?
Well, if you have
similar to tourism.
That is really worth learning. However, be aware that it is difficult and will demand a lot of your time.
Okay, that's good to know.
You might find that Japanese is an interesting course and it will teach you valuable skills in speaking the language. Personally, it's not bad and could be of some help, but not that much.
Okay, Japanese. Got that. What about medical care?
Well, if you have time, the course will teach you a lot about curing diseases and illnesses or dealing with injuries outside, although it's not essential.
So, okay, if it's useful, I'll take it.
If you enjoy using technology and are worried about fulfilling the entry requirement,
Cái này phải là phát ra từ mồm ông giáo sư hay là từ mồm con này?
I'm terrible.
Cái này phải là phát ra từ mồm ông giáo sư hay là từ mồm con này? Khoan, chết giờ, chết.
Terrible with computers, so I'm
90.
Yeah.
Now, what about the courses? Are you interested in any of the other subjects on offer?
I have looked at a few. I was interested in travel and business as it sounds similar to tourism.
That is really worth learning. However, be aware that it is difficult and will demand a lot of your time.
Okay, that's good to know.
You might find that Japanese is an interesting course and it will teach you valuable skills in speaking the language. Personally, it's not bad and could be of some.
Good night, guys. Oh my holy fucking shit. Okay. Search for Nipcom. Nipcom.
Residence.
Which one?
At University Hall, not far from here, in Adams Terrace.
University Hall. And do you have any medical insurance?
Yes, I'm fully covered.
And who are you insured with?
I'm with Health for Life.
Healthy Life.
No, people always get that wrong. It's Health for Life. They're part of some big insurance company.
Good. Now, Simon, have you ever had your eyes tested before?
Yes, once, but not recently. It was when I was still at school.
So, roughly when would that have been?
Probably around September 2007. No, on second thoughts, it must have been the year before. September 2006. My eyesight was fine then.
But you're having a little difficulty now, are you?
Well, yes. Since I started at university, I've been having difficulty with distance vision. I can't always see things in the distance.
Well, let's have a look. Now, I'm just going to cover your left eye. Yeah. Can you read the top line?
Yes. RBQS.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
Well, Simon, your eyes have obviously got a little worse since your last test, and I think you're going to need to wear glasses. Not all the time, and not so much for reading or close work, but definitely for driving.
Right, yes, I thought that was probably the case.
So now you need to choose some frames. There's a wide range to choose from, as you can see.
Can you give me some idea of the difference in cost? I quite liked the idea of some frameless glasses.
Did you? Well, the prices vary enormously, like everything, but the frameless ones are the most expensive. The cheapest are the ones with the full frame.
Perhaps I'd better go for those.
Or why not try these ones with the half frame?
They're not too bad.
Yes, they look quite nice, and they're strong. Far less likely to break than the frameless ones.
Oh, that's a good point. OK, I think I'll take those ones.
If you pop back next Monday, I should have them ready for you. And
Yo! They are tripping, bro.
I quite liked the idea of...
And I think you're going to need to wear glasses. Not all the time, and not so much for reading or close work, but definitely for driving.
Right, yes, I thought that was probably the case.
So now you need to choose some frames. There's a wide range to choose from, as you can see.
Can you give me some idea of the difference in cost?
Honestly, like everything, but the frameless ones are the most expensive. The cheapest are the ones with the full frame.
Perhaps I'd better go for those.
Or why not try these ones with the half frame?
They're not too bad.
Yes, they look quite nice, and they're strong. Far less likely to break than the frameless ones.
Oh, that's a good point.
Far less likely to break than the frameless one.
Strong. Oh, what is strong?
Oh, that's a good point. OK, I think I'll take those ones.
If you pop back next Monday, I should have them ready for you, and you can pay for them when you pick them up.
Thanks very much. Can I pay by credit card?
You can, but there'll be a slight charge if you do that.
Right, I'll pay by cash then, if you don't mind.
No problem. Cash, credit card, debit card, all the same to us. See you on Monday.
You're tripping, bro. What the fuck, bro? Tilted, bro.
Okay.
Okay, what the?
Section 2. You will hear an extract from an audio...
What do you prefer, man? Holy shit.
Bạn có mê cái bộ phim Breaking Bad không? Ôi đương nhiên rồi. Tôi mê đến mức còn bắt lỗi được phim luôn cơ mà. Như tôi bạn đừng có bốc phét đi. Cái phim đẳng cấp thế giới như thế người ta lại còn lỗi cho bạn bắt đấy. Ồ, những cái lỗi về hóa học ấy, nên kể cả fan lâu năm cũng chưa chắc đã biết đâu bạn ạ. Đây, để tôi giải thích cho bạn nghe. Thì cái sai đầu tiên là ở ngay intro của bộ phim luôn. Cái phim Breaking Bad là hay sử dụng những cái ô nguyên tố để lắp vào tên riêng ấy. Như ngay cái tên phim Breaking Bad là sử dụng hai ô nguyên tố Br chính là brom và Ba là barium. Thì cái nguyên tố bari, cái ô đấy người ta viết sai. Cái con số 56 là số hiệu nguyên tử thì đúng rồi, nhưng cái sai là ở cấu hình electron ở phía dưới. Từ mùa 1 đến mùa 4 người ta sử dụng cái dãy số là 28, 18, 7. Thế là sai. Phải mãi đến tận mùa phim thứ 5 người ta mới sửa lại cho đúng là 28, 18, 18, 82. Giờ tôi chịu bạn đấy. Một cái lỗi bé tí thế mà bạn soi ra được. Thế có cái lỗi gì nó to hơn không? À, có một cái lỗi rất là thú vị về hóa chất. Trong xuyên suốt cả bộ phim, tất cả các phần, thầy trò Walter White đã phải rất khó khăn, vất vả, khổ sở, thậm chí là lên kế hoạch để ăn trộm một cái hóa chất. Đấy chính là methylamine CH3NH2. Nhưng mà trên thực tế, methylamine lại là một cái hóa chất cực kỳ rẻ tiền và dễ kiếm thôi. Tôi nghĩ đây là cái ý đồ của đạo diễn hay biên kịch. Người ta cố tình làm như thế để tăng cái sự kịch tính cho bộ phim. Thế cái đá xanh ở trong phim đấy là ngoài đời có thật không hả bạn? Về cái món đặc sản của thầy White nấu ra đấy, nó cũng chỉ là một cái chi tiết hư cấu thôi. Chứ trên thực tế không thể nào có một cái sản phẩm đạt được độ tinh khiết 99 hay 100% như thế cả. Và kể cả dù có tinh khiết đến đâu, nó cũng không thể có màu xanh được. Đấy chỉ là phẩm màu người ta thêm vào thôi. Cái chi tiết này theo tôi thì đấy là ý đồ của nhà làm phim, vì nó phục vụ cho hai cái mục đích. Thứ nhất là tạo nên cái thương hiệu, cái signature nhận diện đặc biệt cho thầy White. Và thứ hai là để tránh những người xem phim người ta tò mò làm theo thôi mà.
Chào thầy. Thịt nướng à? Ngon quá nhở?
Một miếng đi.
Ôi thử chứ anh.
Thử luôn.
Vào đây để ăn vụng mà. cho em xin thử miếng nhá. Chết.
Ngon nhất là đoạn này.
Nóng hôi hổi luôn này. Nhân dịp đoàn lên khánh thành điểm trường, các thầy cô góp tiền mua 5 cân thịt lợn. Mà thịt lợn ngon luôn nha các bạn nhé. Với cả các cô tự đổ xôi, xong rồi lấy rau ở ngoài vườn các cô tự trồng để mời đoàn một bữa cơm. Ui, bữa cơm ngon dã man, 45 phút leo lên đỉnh đồi. Thực sự, bữa cơm đáng nhớ luôn đấy.
Hả? Gì cơ? Discord à? Ủa? Đéo ở đây.